Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We'll take a look at the SP and the NASDAQ, and then we'll have a look at our normal stocks. Obviously, what we're seeing in the markets is we're seeing some weakness in the markets, and we're seeing that in tech stocks, which is showing up in the indices. And we can see it here quite clearly that the ranges in this weekly bar for the S&P here is the ranges are quite small at this point. So let's just go to the daily chart and check on this. We can also see here too that the market's bowing over here. So I've been getting some great comments and some thoughts about how we can view this market. I mean, we also have to understand too, even though there's sort of weakness here, we've only got like 3 waves to the upside, and we've taken out this top here. So the NASDAQ hasn't taken out the previous top here just yet, but many tech stocks have, some haven't, some have. We are that weakness. If we look at it in terms of volume, this is the monthly chart, and basically we're at the end of September at the moment. And we can see that, well, at this stage for the S&P, we can see that this bar here has lower volume than this one here. So it's not increasing in the trend to the upside, so that's a little bit of an issue. If we just drill in and take a look at this on the weekly chart here, we can see a few things here. We can see that well, let's just sort of go back a little bit here. So in this move here, this move to the upside here, because it's kind of like the same in a way here and here, we got these smaller bars, let's just say that, shall we? And what we can see here is we can see this move up here, but it was moving up on lower volume. So for a trend to be a trend, it really needs increasing volume in either direction. Even this one here, we're coming down, so it's increasing at this point. We're going up here, so it's increasing. So we have been seeing increasing volume in these bars just here. But the range, this range here and this one here is smaller than this one. This is weekly, and last week's bar was really small compared to this one. So we're getting a diminishing range in here, and now we're seeing diminishing volume in here. So the volume is confirming the price action. So even though that this one here was smaller bar than this one here, and more volume, that would also tell us that there's churning and sellers going on in this point here. And we could see that last week in terms of the pattern, and we in the intraday trend to the upside, and also in the tech stocks as well. So when you get a move that is moving up and the ranges get shorter and the volume's diminishing into this, well then it's not really that the sellers are in control at this point. It's just that there's no buyers, and that weakness can trigger stops, and then we come down and value buyers come in, and on we go again. So what we are seeing here is weakness in the market and that would suggest that well, there's no buyers as such, and we could probably see a correction. It doesn't mean that we can't push up a little bit further. It doesn't mean that we can't make a new high. But even if we made a new high, we would need to see that it was making a new high on excessive more volume at that point. So even if we get a new high, don't be lured into the point that we're going to continue to trend to the upside. I mean, we are in a trend to the upside, but inside of that we need to see, we can see that there's weakness there, right? So even if there's another high, don't get too excited about it. We can break that down to the daily, but you get the point, So on the daily chart, this is where we've been looking at things, and so basically, Houston, we've got a problem here, because we're not really pushing to the upside on increased volume to the upside, and we're seeing a bit of weakness in the top of trends through the tech sector, basically. So there's a couple of ways that we need to look at this. I don't have an answer today. I'm just sort of mulling it over and hope for everybody's input, because it's not that I'm perfect in any way. Anybody's input would be fantastic, so we can sort of, more ideas into the hat, the better. But I want to talk about a few ideas with all of this. So this particular move up through here, this can be counted differently. It can be counted in a couple of different ways. So if I look at, if we go back to the S&P here and just go to the, say, the hourly chart here for a moment, just put it here for this. So one way to look at this is that we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then going up for 5. Now, I know it's a little bit messy in here, and in this case, in some of the indices, this made a new low here, but in some of them, like the 100 here, it didn't make a new low. So we could view this as 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all the way up here for 5. So what I wanted to say is that I can see that some indices, like the S&P 100 that I'm on at the moment, we could have this as a top here. There's other ones that we would need to see another little move over here, because this low here has made a low below this one here. In this case, it hasn't. So this top being here is a question. So basically, what we've got here, we've had this little thing here as wave 1 and 2 here, and then moving to the upside. Now we understand that there's an issue with that. So what we're going to look at is we can continue to look at it we can continue to look at it until proven otherwise. So just because there's something a bit scary or not quite right going on, we're noting that, but it doesn't mean that we have to change our count. We can keep the current count because it hasn't been breached. And the second thing is that we can have a look at other counts. So just coming back to this particular count here, this would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So now we're just discussing ideas, okay? So if we were counting 5 waves up here, then we could look at it, just see what I've got on the 20 here. I don't think I've changed my original count. So this is the original count, okay? So this this is a count that we could continue to use, and I'll keep an eye on it. So that would have this wave 4 needs to come into play, and yes, it's overlapping this, and then there would be wave 5 of 3 here, and then wave 4, and then wave 5 up here. Now in this case, it does leave this wave 3 here too short. Now, that's okay. We could have a situation where, if I just bring this in here, we have wave 4 here. So if this whole wave here is shorter than wave 1 here, then wave 5 needs to be shorter still. So I think that's too early for a top to be called in as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I think that's just too early. It doesn't make any sense with some of the other markets, even with Bitcoin. So yeah, if this wave here was shorter than this, the length of this one here to this one here, if this was shorter, then this one here will be shorter. So then what we'd need to do is we would need to put wave 1 over here and wave 2 over here. So it would look a little bit like, let me just, did I do it over here? It would look a little bit like this here. So we would need to look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here. So there would be, we could have this wave 3 top could be in here, counting this up here, or we have a little wave 4 here, we go up for wave 5, and then we have a wave 4, and then we have a wave 5 here, and then we have an ABC pattern going on here. So it could be like this. So this is one count that can be, could be viewed as, something pretty reasonable into the market. Because don't forget, we've got, taking this top out here, we're left with 3 waves here, right? So we still need to finish off here. So this is one way to look at it. Another way to look at it would be looking at it like this here, which I also kind of like. So this one here with 1 and 2 here, and then counting this one up here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we could have the top in here, or we need one more little high and we come in over here, and then we have this wave 2 here. So they're the two main thoughts that I have on this. Now this one here is a little bit like Bitcoin, so we'll be looking at Bitcoin a little bit later. Because Bitcoin's come up on the same note as this here, so all the crypto are the same, and we're looking at I'm looking at counting 5 waves up here for 1 and 2, and there's a lot of stocks like this as well. Now Google is like this as well, so this is a pretty good case. So then we could have like wave 3 over here, and yada yada yada. So we've either got it like this, I reckon. Well, first of all, we can stay with the original count, which we'll just keep going with. Then we'll keep an eye on this one here, and then we also need to look at this one here. So we've basically got three counts to come into play. The funny thing is, is that they're all going to be basically the same. So we can expect a little bit of a dip to come down here further. We can see that in stocks, and then we push up and then we come back. So this one here, this could be the wave 2 that we've got over here for this. Do you know what I mean? Instead of a wave 4. So basically the pattern is this, whichever way you want to look at everything, the pattern for the meantime is basically the same. It's just that something we just got to work through everything. So all of that said, let's go in and just pick up from where we were here on this 20,000 tick here. Let me just get this organized. Okay, so let me just clean this up here a little bit. So in the meantime, we can view it like this here. This wave 4 needs to come down, and we may or may not get a pushback to the upside at this point, because the alternative count is really looking at possible wave 1 top here, or a wave 1 top over here for this. So we need to be a little bit careful with this 4th wave. So we've got a few long trades in here, so they need to be removed at this point. There's no point in being in a weak market. So let's just go to the 1,000 tick area here, and so yeah, this whole trend coming up here. So if you've got positions in here anywhere, I mean, you could probably have a much wider stop, but we've got these and whatnot, so we're going to basically exit at this point here. So we need to look at this as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. The alternative count here can have it can be wave 1, or it can be wave 3 here. They're the sort of alternatives that can be here at this particular point in time. So yeah, we're going to get overlapping wave structures with this one here. There's not really much I can see that we could, that I could fix that with, The only other way to sort of get a nice cleaner top in there is really bring this down here as 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, and 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It does make a really long wave 5, so I'm not prepared to go there just yet on that. So yeah, look, just rehashing all of this is that in terms of the trades that we've got in here, we're going to be exiting at this particular point, and this move down here can play out as 1 and 2 here. Well, it actually can go here. The stocks are telling me we're going to do something like this. But because this here, see this move here, this little A, B, and C here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's a corrective wave and it's been confirmed because we're taking out this low here, that means we'll take out this low. So it's probably we're going to see something like this come into play here. So we'll be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, something of this nature. I'm not quite sure just yet. And you know, when you're coming into large numbers, the 1, 2, and 3 here tend to give it some support, but at the same time, it's because this is corrective here, that means we'll take out this low here. So yeah, so I mean, if you're in sort of other markets and things, you could stay in, but you'd have to have a wider stop. And because we're swing trading, we just want to stay in the trend until we realize that the trend is not there anymore. And we're realizing, we're giving it a fair chance. Last week we, talked all about this here and the weaker volume in all of this on the daily and this and that, and now we're not seeing any improvement in the weather, so we've got to take cover. So that's it. So we've either got hashing, we've got this is a wave 3, either this is a wave 3 or this is a wave 1. So anyway, that's something to chat about, and if you've got any more ideas, then chuck them in the pile. Okay, sorry for such a long talk on that. So I won't go into a long talk on the NASDAQ. It's the same thing here as well. Any long trades, we've got this one and this one, so we'll be out on this one. Now, you could probably hold through all this and panicking over nothing, but it'll be something like this. There will be overlap on this one, and then a move up to here. So the same thing here as well. We can have this as wave 1. We could have it as a wave 3 here as well, or we could have it as this wave 3 here. So I'll just continue to play it out with this wave 3 and 4 here. But yeah, we can't afford to be in this anymore, so we'll be removing those. Okay, so we come over to Apple, and Apple hasn't taken the top out here like the S&P. We do have a nice wave 3 and 4 here. We do have a nice 1 and 2 here. We do have a nice 1 here. What I don't know is this wave 2 in here, or do we actually play out and come down here to the 61.8% and then move up at that point? So that's something I'm a little bit unsure about here. But as far as the crow flies, the bigger picture, as corrective here, impulsive here, this is corrective here, so we need to take out that top. That may have taken out the top, but yeah, we still need this one here. So this is 20,000 ticks on the bigger picture. If we come into 1,000 ticks here, so what I'm going to do here is, we've got these positions here. I don't want to have a loss, so we're going to bring this stop up to this low here. And yeah, so it's quite possible that we just push up from here as 1 and 2 into this space here as 1 and 2. Not the best little impulse wave here, but I can kind of see how we could look at it as wave 1. So we've either got an A and a B and a C here. Now this C wave doesn't count very nicely here, so that's the issue here. So that means we could have something a bit more complicated. But in terms of size compared to wave 1 here, this is sort of sufficient, but we would need to get support on top of this one over here for that. So we'll just see how this plays out, but we do need to protect those here. And if this comes down to here, well, then we'll work our way back in again. We'll see where the rest of the market is, if this is going to move along from this point. But all in all, we've got this nice impulse wave here, and we know that this is corrective in some manner. It's just that this is not a beautiful 5 waves down here for C, and it's not a beautiful 5 waves up here for 1. It can pull back here for wave 2 back into the 225, or we're going to come down into the 220 area here covering this gap. But third wave gaps don't really need to be sort of covered. So that's where we are. We'll just see how that sort of plays out. And then we've got Amazon. So with a lot of these markets now, we're going to have to sort of look to tighten them up a little bit. So in this case here, we've got wave 4 with 1 and 2. And we're going to look at 3 and 4 and 5 up here. Now we may end up needing to change this as well, and putting wave 1 up here and putting this wave 1 here and those sorts of things as well. We'll just see how it goes. It's not going to go, we're not in this market now because we don't want to be in a market that's around a large number unless we're, got confidence in the larger trend. But like we understand, we're seeing this softness coming here, and this is quite a big correction really compared to what we've had here so far, So we'll just see how it plays out. Yeah, so I'll just see as it plays out here. So, I mean, there is a case to put wave 2 over here for this, but then that would leave this as wave 3 here, and that's a bit short and a bit quick for what I'm thinking of with everything. So I'll just leave that as is, but expect it to come down a little bit further, come back to this wave 4, 1 lesser degree, which will also be the 38.2% retracement level as well. So a little bit further downside in the next session because Friday didn't close strong. And then we come over to NVIDIA. So we're on the daily chart for NVIDIA. So we've got this wave 3 with an ABC for wave 4. So the standard count of 1 and 2 here. And then we've currently got this as 1 up here. If we were going to change all of this, then we would put wave 1 over here for this as well. As 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and line that up with that alternative count that I've got in the market, and same count for Ethereum and Bitcoin and so on as well. So let's just go in and have a look at this. But all in all, we've got the impulse wave. So it's looking pretty good at this stage. We're just getting support on the next level here. So that's the 20. I don't know if I got it on the 20 here. No, I don't have it there. But let me just go into 1000. Okay, so I've been revisiting this. We've had this up here as wave 1, and then that would leave this one over here as wave 2. And if that was the case, then I would need to look at this as wave 1 over here, as this 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th here for wave 1 here. And then I could also bring this in over here as wave 2. And that's a pretty good case. We've got a nice little ABC pattern here. But we've got a couple of positions in here, and we've got some here. So I just don't want it coming down any further. So this will probably leave us break even or something at this point. But the thing is that we could get a push up. And then a push down for this. That's the other side of the coin here for this. That's why we want to protect that. If this moves, just continues to move up, well then we can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and correction. And it gives me 5 waves to this point, actually, to this one here. So I've got this extra move here. So it's like this is all 5 waves here, and we would go up in an ABC and come back down again. So it's not quite... So it can be viewed as the A wave here and the B wave here. So we just got to protect. We'll keep a bit of an eye on it. We'll see where the rest of the market is and that sort of thing. But we could be in for this here based on this being 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So I've got this extra wave. I did go in and have a look at that. It was a little bit spiky in here, so it kind of, doesn't make it that sort of clear at this point. So we could view this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here, and this would be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave coming back here for wave 2. Or we could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 to here. It's got a nice support on the 120 now. It's come back and hit this high here, so we can expect a bounce. We'll just investigate the bounce to see if it's impulsive, but so far this here should turn into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So we should at least get, as 1, 2, should we get 5 waves up here, we should get a correction, and we should get another 5 waves. So we'll see what it looks like and how far it's gotten at that particular point in time. And we can adjust the stop on that as well. Facebook. So we've got a couple of things here. We've got, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 as we have been doing. And we've been counting up here, and we've had this as wave 1 and 2 in here. We had this as a little 1 and 2 in here. So we look, this is 3, 4, 5. So we could put this wave 3 in here. So this wave 4 needs to play out, and then up for wave 5 here for this. So in this case, it would leave us with wave 3 here. That's reasonable sort of case at this time. Now it does look a bit short for a wave 3. This wave C here on the aftermarket came down much lower, so that will give wave 1 more length on that if that need be, but all I'm doing is just counting the structure up here, so no real change in this particular move here as such. So what we can do here is we've got, we'll just go through the count really. So for wave 2, we've got wave 1 tucked in here. This wave 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So yeah, I've sort of tidied this up the top here a little bit. So if you wanted to, you could put the stop here, or you could keep the stop out of the way here. So we can just put the stop here under here as well if you like. And we can pick it back up over here and we'll see where the rest of the market is. That's if, you know, if you want to. So otherwise leave the stop well out of the way and accommodate this wave 4. But this is the 38.2%, so we can get a push up here. It looks quite impulsive here. There is a case for putting this over here and having this as an A and a B and a C, but it's not really giving me the B wave here. So I'll have to look at this as the A and then the B and then the C wave here for this. But I'm probably over panicking just here for this, so if you wanted to keep this out of the way here, that's also fine. But yeah, I'm just going to plonk it there for the time being. So this 565 here, if that became the retested resistance, so that means that what you need is a first move down, and then when it retests, then put the stop under it at that point. And we come over to Netflix, and Netflix is also a little bit messy in here as well. The wave 3 and 4 is cool. The wave 1 to the upside is okay. Wave 2 here, and then probably wave 1 up here and back for wave 2 here. There is a case for looking at this as wave 4 here, but it's really so big compared to this market, and also having this 1 and 2 here would drag it into the rest of the world. But I can see that it's, you know, really slowed down and it's getting really messy around this top here, so I don't really know how it's going to sort of play out. We could do the same thing here as well. We could put wave 1 over here and put wave 1 over here and have some sort of leading diagonal coming into this. That's also possible. So there's a few things going on with this market, but we're in this little wave 4 like the rest of the markets. Let's just drill in here to 100 and see if we can sort some of this out. So yeah, I'm thinking that we've got 1 and 2 here, and I know there's a bit of an overlap here, but that's what big numbers do. They kind of pull the market to themselves because large numbers attract larger orders. So basically 1 and 2 and 3 here, some sort of ABC here for wave 4. It looks a bit impulsive here, so an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5 up here for the B wave, down for the C wave, and then wave 1 up here. So we'll just see how this whole top plays out. It's not moving anywhere very quickly, so we've got, you know, we're not in this one, we're out of this one now as well. So we'll just see how it goes. But in one way or another, it's good that, you know, it has got the 700 here as the resistance, and then we're getting this first high above the level. So it's quite possible that we could bring this in over here as well because it's so messy in here. But basically, in a nutshell, I'm kind of looking for this, you know, our basic pattern here. So we've had that, and we're here, we're in this here. Now we could have the top in play, or we could have another little move up, and then we need this here. So that's kind of where we are at this first high above the level, or will this be the first high above the level? There's a good chance that this can be in here as well for this. So we'll just see how it goes. But basically, we need, you know, it's just not ready yet. So we've had this, we're here. We may go a bit higher, don't know, but we need this here. And this is where we start focusing on getting back in over here. So that this is our timing. So over here. Now, I'm just not quite sure about this, that's all, because this is a little bit messy in here. Okay, so Alphabet, and so yeah, this could play out a couple of ways. We do have a little sort of 5 waves in here. I think this could even just push up a little bit more because it hasn't taken the top out here just yet. So I think taking profit on this trade here, anywhere above this top here, and I'm putting the stop here. We're entering group 2, 165, 170 and 172 and 180 here. So we'll see if we get support in there. We may get lucky with this and, you know, survive this. It might be a case that that all of this here, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is just wave 1 here. And then we have wave 2 and then 3, 4 and 5 or something like this. It's not going to be that sort of huge, but this is where we need to be over here for this. So I want to protect this position here, so that's what we're going to do here. So we could have this as 1 and 2 because it hasn't taken out the high, and then 3, 4, 5. But yeah, I don't expect it to. I expect it to try to get support in here, but I expect it to fail once it hits this supply over here. So unfortunately, we're going to move out. I thought the rest of the market would be strong and will be cool and we could just continue to go with it, but we can see that there's weakness in the market, so we need to do that. And this is Microsoft, and there's weakness here as well. So I've had this, last time we spoke, I had this as, and it's still possible to have this as wave C of 2 over here. And we could just have this as I've got this down here as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. It's quite possible to have this wave 2 here and then have this here as 1 and 2 in here as well, and have this sitting here. But because of what's going on in the markets, I just need to be a bit mindful of things. So I'm a little bit unsure about this. So we'll just wait and see how this is going to play out here. So just a bit more time on this. Tesla looks quite good. It's not showing any weakness, and the trend that we've been sort of tracking here is there's nothing really wrong with it. So we're just going to stay with it, really. So we've got a position here and we've got a position in here now. I brought the stop up from down here to here. That should be okay. This level here, the 250 medium level, it's just, you know, it's developing support. After we got this one here locked in, then we can bring this up here further at that point. If you want to take profit at these tops, well then that's fine, but otherwise we just got to wait for this floor to be, you know, double checked. But yeah, look, the trend here just looks fine, so we'll just stay with that. This is also group 2 here, so from this is 5 and this is 8, and then we talk about group 2, so this 265 will play out here. Probably won't find support here, but can trade above it. And then pull back for this wave 4. And then we come over to Bitcoin, and with Bitcoin here, I'm just going to go to Ethereum first. This is a daily chart here, and as I pointed out with Ethereum, which has the same count as, you know, other, you know, tech stocks. So we've got this, meaning that we've got wave 1 and 2 here. It's just lagging a bit, and then we've got 1 and 2 here. So we've got this 3rd wave and 4th wave and to go up here. So I'm thinking that we're going to be looking up here as wave 1 and wave 2 over here for this. And this is the same as Bitcoin here. So on Bitcoin here, we've got, if we just go to the daily chart here for a moment. So I've had it down here the same as the other markets, but I'm more inclined to now put this up here. Well, we talked about this last week anyway, so that will push all of this up here further. We'll see. We can have wave 1 here and 2 here, but there's a better case to have this as a smaller 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here for 1 and 2. This will also be in line with the NASDAQ and those sorts of markets as well. So yeah, I mean, the thing about this is that we know that this is a corrective pattern. We're just a bit unsure if that's the actual low here, or we get some other weirder situation coming in, like, you know, coming in over here with a much bigger picture pattern here, you know, as an ABC over here for the B wave and down for the C wave. So we don't know that yet, but based on what I can see with stock is that we should be pushing up from here. This should be the low for Bitcoin based on global markets. So the question that needs to be answered is all of this one up here and back to here, which I think it is. So we'll just see how it plays out. But like I said, you know, coming up to the 65 level, we just have to give it some time because, you know, it could do this, it could do this, but it's not going to do this. It's going to be more like this one here. That's what's occurring here. So we just got to allow that to play out. They never go far straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just give them time and they play out, and we can pick them up when we know what's what's what. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 here, and then going up for 5. Now all of this is a little bit messy in here, so it could be a little bit different, but it doesn't matter because it's not. It will edge higher, and it will, you know, end up dropping below the 65 and all the rest of it. We just have to wait and see what type of pattern that it gives us in, well, this is really sort of the arrival area here. We just need to allow this to play out here, you know, because in the beginning we don't know, but in the end, if we give it time, it will just reveal itself, and then we make our decision to, you know, to add to the position and so on. But in the meantime, it's just arrived here, so we don't need to do anything at this particular point. But one way or another that we're looking at it, we can see that we're getting 5 waves here, so that's a positive move, and it's the same that we're seeing in, you know, Solana's the same thing as well. Now we're looking at this as 1 and 2 over here, and then wave 1 up here, and we could look at it as an A and a B and a C wave here. I get that, but as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then going up for wave 5 to get this wave 1 top and 2 here, I think that's sort of okay. You know, I think PayPal, only in the US, are going to start doing Bitcoin transactions through their PayPal, and they'll be using the Solana network for that, as far as I know. So that will be a positive for this market, and I can see that it's sort of, people are sniffing that out already. So yeah, anyway, we'll see how the cookie crumbles. So apologies for a long video, but it was a fair bit to get through, and I just think it's we don't have to have any answers today with the S&P and the NASDAQ and all of that. We'll just allow things to play out, and we'll get an answer soon enough. Alrighty, cheers.